don't fantasize about you in leather or anything.
Oh. I'd say we're changing the channel name to Leather and Lace.
Oh.
I'm glad that I'm leather. I like it.
Glad that I'm lace. I like it. You're glad that you're leather, you're vegan.
It could be faux leather.
Yeah, that's true.
You know.
Faux leather and lace.
Faux leather and lace. I like it.
No. Oh, it's over.
Hello, BookTube. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Rebecca.
And today we are doing the Finally Fall book tag.
I just want to not have sweat in my boob area.
Oh yeah, like just when like the bottom of your bra is like moist and chafy.
Like constantly?
So this is the Finally Fall book tag, which was originally by Tall Tales, and we were tagged by Sylvia K, who's super adorable.
She is super
Like
cute.
her accent. Question numero uno. Name a book with a vivid setting.
I immediately thought of The Night Circus for this.
Oh, that's so true.
We talked about it a little bit here, but like I remember reading The Night Circus, and it was one of those books where you have to like literally tear yourself out and be like, okay, this is the world.
Oh, it's so much about the world building.
Yeah,
that
the
book.
setting in that is so vivid.
The reason a lot of people love that book is because it's so immersive. The story is complex in its ways, but it's also simplistic in its ways, and I didn't feel particularly compelled by the story.
Yeah.
I felt so compelled by the world. I thought of a couple things. His Dark Materials.
Oh, I haven't read those yet.
Really?
No.
I had such an idea of being in this world. It was something which I didn't know anyone else at the time who was reading it. It was like a teenager, or sorry, not a teenager, it was like 10. It felt so unbelievably personal. It felt like a world that was so much mine, and I felt like Lyra. Question 2. Nature is beautiful, but also dying. That's fall for you. Choose a book that deals with heavy topics such as death.
I picked Molokai by Alan Brennert. This is a fictional book about a real island called Molokai in Hawaii. And during a large period of time, people who were diagnosed with leprosy were quarantined there for a long time. And this is a story about a little girl who gets sent there when she's young, and it's her entire life on the island of Molokai. And obviously it deals with some heavy subjects like people dying of leprosy, and it's like so tragic but beautiful. And
so a book that deals with heavy topics, a novel called The Dogs of Babel. Have you ever heard of this? I read it a long time ago, and it was really striking to me, and I haven't read it again since because it was kind of heavy. It's from the point of view of a man who gets called by the police. When he comes home, his wife has died. I believe it seems like a suicide. The only witness to his wife dying was their dog. And he legitimately, it's from the point of view of this husband, and he spends the whole book trying to teach his dog how to talk.
oh my god, that sounds depressing.
But in like a really legitimate way. Like he teaches his dog signals and like this word means this, trying to figure out if he could teach his dog to communicate to him what happened the night that his wife died. Well, I don't know that I could read it again, but it was a fabulous book and I really think it should be read once. Question numero 3. Fall means back to school.
Woo.
Yeah. Name a book that taught you something recently. The first book that I thought of was the book The Art of Asking by Amanda Palmer. Have you read this?
Oh no, you told me about it a little bit though.
It's a good book.
Yeah, I would read her book for sure.
So she did a TED Talk, starting with her early days, which before she was an accomplished singer, songwriter, she was a busker. Like she was on the street, and she didn't even busk with like an instrument. She was a living statue. She like dressed up like a statue, and she would like hold a flower and be perfectly still until she felt like she connected with someone, and then she would like extend a flower and give it to the person, and they would have like a moment, and sometimes the person would take a flower and sometimes they wouldn't, and people would leave her money. That was her first sort of foray into the world of asking for money for some form of art. And the whole book is sort of exploring her journey of learning how to ask for money, and is art worth money, and how do you ask for money for your art, and is it justified? People don't view art as a service, even though
Even people who consume it.
if we were living in a world without art, it would be so fucking miserable. The audiobook is super fun.
Does she narrate it?
Yeah, she does, and she like plays the ukulele
that'd
and
be
like
fun.
sings parts of it. It's fun. It's fun. So if you want sort of a study of self and like what is worthwhile in the world, it was, I think, very worthwhile. Question number 4. In order to keep warm, it's good to take time with those you love. Name a fictional family or group you would like to be part of.
No spoilers here, but I just finished season 2 of Stranger Things.
I haven't finished it yet, so
I will say, but there's a very obvious, like, a friend group that is adorable and fun. And, like, while a part of me would like to go back to being, like, 13 years old and joining in on the Stranger Things crew, I kind of want to, like, gang up with Joyce, like Winona Ryder. I don't know, like, she
just cry all the time, or what?
She's just, like, full of anxiety, and I really get it.
You guys could just sit there and like
stressing
freak out
about
the whole
life.
time.
Like her and Hopper, the cop. Like I like want to team up with the Stranger Things adults.
Interesting. When I thought of this question, I started thinking of like cool groups that I would want to be part of. And honestly, the first place I went was like superheroes. Like if you could be like an Avenger or something. But I don't really want to be an Avenger because that sounds stressful and not very fun. And there are so few women in it, honestly, that I don't know if I'd want to be part of it. If I was thinking about comic book groups that I want to be part of, there's a comic book called The Invisibles. And they're like these anarchist, time-traveling, kind of weird group saving people. And they're super weird. And when I first read these comic books, like the only thing I could think was like, how cool would it be to be picked by one of them, by this group? And because the whole series kind of starts with when this like kind of brat from the street is just kind of plucked by them, and it's this kind of immersion of what he learns when he's like, these people are super fucking crazy, but it's also like he wants to be part of them. It's a crazy story, and it only gets crazier as you read more of it. It's a fantastic time in this group that I always thought I'd want to be part of. Oh, the next one is with the colorful leaves piling up.
Okay.
What array of books would you present as a colorful array of fall book themes?
Ta-da!
Ooh, orange, red, yellow. It's beautiful. Question number 6. Fall is the perfect time for stories by the fireside. Name a book where someone is telling a story. I immediately thought of Frankenstein.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever read Frankenstein?
No, I haven't read it
We've
yet.
talked about how you haven't read Frankenstein, I know already. Frankenstein is a framework. I think it's a double framework. Part of it is from like Victor's point of view, and part of it is from the monster's point of view. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you know, Victor tells the story, and then within that, the monster tells his story. And in the book, the monster is actually really well spoken, and he tells the story of like what he is going through as like someone learning the cruelty of man. It's kind of dark. It's weird. It's crazy. What's a book where someone tells a story?
I thought about Interview with a Vampire.
Oh, that's so good.
I think that was my first vampire novel, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, I liked vampires by then because I liked Buffy.
I read Dracula really early
I did
on,
not.
so I
Blind.
didn't read until after I'd seen the movie, but then I read The Vampire Lestat.
Yeah, that's
which
good.
is also really fun.
good.
It's long and a little verbose.
But
to throw
Lestat is
that.
just...
Lestat's great.
Yeah.
He's the rock star of vampires. And vampires are already such rock stars, so that's saying something.
Yeah.
Question number 7. The nights are getting darker. Share a dark, creepy read.
Ooh.
What did you think of for this one?
I thought of a book called Draw the Dark by Isla Bick, I think her name is. It was one of the books where the title initially drew me in, and then I looked at the cover, and it's kind of like this lone barn. I really love like creepy barns as a setting, and it's a book that I really enjoyed because it's very much my thing, but not one I would be quick to recommend to a lot of people. But it's about a kid who, like, not a kid, he's like a teenager who kind of is drawing things that might be related to how his parents disappeared and might be related to another dimension, and at the same time there's this tie-in with like a horrible historical thing that happened within this barn, and it's a little convoluted. I read it in one sitting on a plane, so I don't totally remember the plot.
For a creepy read that I thought of, I actually remembered the first time I read Coraline. I was a lot younger, but I still remember at the time I was a young teenager, 13 or 14 or something like that, and we were repainting my bedroom. While we were painting it, my bed was in the middle of the room, and all of the furniture was sort of in the middle of the room, and stuff wasn't on shelves or quite where it needed to be. It was like piles of stuff, and nothing was clean looking because we all had to be away from the walls,
just in the middle.
and everything was just slightly off. So I remember being in the middle of my room, going to bed every night, reading Coraline, and just feeling how off everything was. There was this dark room, which I was painting a dark red color because I thought it was great, and reading this story, which at the time was so dark, I was like, I must have been like 12 or 13. I could not have been very old. And thinking about how this book was presenting a view of your home life, but slightly wrong.
Yeah.
You know, it was presenting, this is your life, but off. It was so creepy at the time that I would go to bed every night and I would stop reading and I'd be like, I'm not tired. Question number 8. The days are getting colder. Name a heartwarming read.
I immediately jumped to Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. It's just a very sweet, fun read about a boy who's kind of discovering his sexuality. He becomes friends with another boy, and over time he's kind of realizing that they're really in love. It takes place during the 80s, and the dialogue's very sweet. And I like that it was a male-male romance written by a gay man, not written by a woman, which happens a lot nowadays. And I have read some of them and I have liked them, but it is better to get it from someone who, you know, has experienced that.
What's your feeling about that, knowing how strange that can feel reading a romance from someone who has no perspective on it?
I'm not positive. Honestly, that's a hard one for me. I definitely have noticed when it's clear that an author doesn't really know what it's like to be attracted to the same sex. Anyway, what was your comfort book?
I didn't have one.
Nothing
Nothing is comforting to me.
All my books are cold.
Question number 9. Fall returns every year. Name an old favorite you love to return to.
Actually didn't write an answer for this.
Well, I mean, Harry Potter.
Harry Potter's an obvious one.
Okay, I'll just lay this out here for whatever it's worth. The first Harry Potter book I have read approximately 15 times.
Oh my god, right? Yes.
An old favorite I love to return to, Pride and Prejudice. Most things by Edgar Allan Poe. His poetry I could reread a bunch. I could reread, like, anything about Lenore. Did you ever notice that every single poem he writes is actually about Lenore? Did you ever see the romance murder mystery about Edgar Allan Poe? It was called The Raven.
No.
I saw it.
How was
It
it?
was really mediocre. Question number 10. Fall is perfect for cozy reading nights. Name your favorite cozy reading accessories.
I didn't bring it.
Well, we're at my house, so I get it.
It's scarf blanket.
It's scarf. Is it? No, is it scarf
Yes,
blanket?
it's scarf blanket.
Oh, that means so much to me.
She gave me something called the scarf blanket.
I don't know what it's really called.
I think it actually says
Is
that
it?
on the tag. I don't know. It's a
That's
scarf
fine.
blanket, whatever.
It's half scarf, half blanket.
It just like drapes around your neck, and then like you're kind of wearing like a cloak almost.
It's almost like a poncho if there was like
It's
a slit
poncho
down the middle.
Yeah, I've even worn it outside of the house. I don't care.
Oh, I mean, you're supposed to. It's supposed to be.
I think of
If
it
you
as like
wear
a
it right.
homebody thing, but
Well, online there were pictures of people like putting a belt over it.
oh no,
and
I'm not that
wearing, like,
fancy. I'm
there
like
was,
cover
like-
up my like fucking Morphus fat rolls. I'm the fucking marshmallow man.
So for me, something to drink, like a mug of something.
With the scarf blanket, just tuck it into
Yeah.
the scarf blanket.
Yeah, yeah. Hot cider. Oh, it's so good. Hot cider like encaptures something about the time of year.
It does.
It's finally fall.
It's
That's
finally
it.
fall.
It's finally fall, BookTube.
Enjoy autumn.
Thanks, BookTube.